Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will continue with our unit which is titled Wishful Thinking. Our lesson today is the first part from the grammar lesson in your books, page 48 and 49. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 48 and 49, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. So let's get started with the homework from yesterday's lesson. You had a question which was, what if you won a prize? Imagine that you won a prize. What might happen? What would happen? What would you do? This is a different people it is vary from one person to the other. So we will have different responses, different reactions. You can say, if I won a prize, it might be the happiest day of my life. Or you can say, if I won a prize, it would be my lucky day. You could also say, if I won a prize, I would be happy. All of these are possible. I am imagining. We haven't won anything yet. However, we're still imagining if this thing happened to us. What else you can tell about winning a prize? You can say, it might be the happiest. I might buy a fancy car. I would buy my dream car. Okay. For our lesson today, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to describe imaginary situations using if conditional. So we're going to imagine. Also, you will be able to use if conditional sentences to express possibility and ability. So we're speaking about if in two situations, possibilities and abilities in imaginary situations. Let's get started with this. We're still speaking about winning a prize. Let's read this short paragraph about the idea of winning a prize. Here, I have heard of this guy who won $1 million prize on a TV game show. I wish I participated in that game show. If I participated in that TV show, I might win the first prize. I wish I were that guy. If I were him, I would know exactly what to do. If I won the prize, I might be famous. If I won the cash, I could travel around the world. So here we're having a speaker who's imagining that he won or she won the prize $1 million. She won $1 million real prize. And what would she do? She would put herself or himself in this person's situation. Let's take some of these sentences as examples. They have said, if I participated in the TV show, I would win the first prize. No one had participated, neither me, neither you, or the speaker. None of us has participated. We are imagining things. Also, they said, if I were him, I would know exactly what to do. I am imagining that I will put myself in that person's place. This will never happen. I would know what exactly to do with the money. Also, if I won the prize, I would be happy. So all of these are imaginary situations. None of us has participated in the contest. So in here, it is actually imaginary situation. Nothing happened. No one had participated in the game. Also, it is hypothetical situations. If I were you, this will never happen. We are imagining things. We are imagining situations. It could be in the present. We are imagining things that will change our present. Not changing our past. We want to change our present. Okay. Let's get to listen to these sentences. He would tell us, if I won $1 million, I would be rich. So here, he's imagining the idea of winning. Let's check win. Notice it's not win, it is won, as if it will never happen. Won. Then The other sentence, I would be rich. It's not will. This time it's would. So I have used would in here. Also, if I won $1 million, I might travel around the world. Also, I might. This could happen. Also, he would say, if I won $1 million, I could buy a fancy car. I would have the money so I could buy a fancy car. Are these situations real? Are these real or imaginary? These are actually wishes. I wish I won. The reality, I hadn't won the money. I don't have $1 million. I wish I won. Okay. In your books, page 48, if conditional for imaginary situations, all if conditionals, if you are imagining, not reality, we will start with the F because it is the F sentence. Then it will be followed by the past tense, verb number 2. Then it will be followed by would, then the verb itself. An example in here, if I won, notice past. Then we're having a comma to separate the two sentences or clauses. Then I will use would and the base form of the verb. It is be, not is, are, or am, neither of them. Also, I can say, if I had enough time, I would sleep more. Here, I don't have enough time. I have too much to do, so I don't sleep enough. This is the reality. Let's imagine and change our present. I will say, if I had enough time. In reality, I don't have enough time. Then I have used a comma in here, and I would sleep more. The thing that I will choose, I would sleep more. Maybe for you, you will tell me, I would go out. I would watch TV. Okay? So we are imagining in here. In your books, page 48, we're having these here. If I won $1 million, this one we call it the F clause because it starts with the F followed by a comma. Then we will have the result clause. So one sentence or one clause will complete the other. No one can stand without the other one. The meaning is not complete if we are not having these two clauses together. So in here I will say, if I won $1 million, what might happen? The result, I would be rich. As we always say, if we're having two connected clauses, we can change the order. I could say, if I would be rich if I won $1 million. What have we done in here? We've only changed the order without using comma. Notice that we don't have a comma in here. It's only a full stop by the end, just like this one. So I would be rich if I won $1 million. The tenses are not different. We're having always with the past, with F we will have a past tense, and the result clause is always in this situation we will have would. Okay, so conditional sentences with F clause, imaginary situations. Use conditional sentences to talk about imaginary or hypothetical situations in the past. So things that are not real. They didn't happen and you might think that it will never happen. Impossible. If I went to the moon, I believe that I will never do it in my life. Then we will say we use the simple past with the F clause. The F clause will be with the simple past. If I won, if I went, if I did, if I could. Then we will say would is often used in the main clause. So if I found $1 million, I would keep it. In my situation, if I found simple past, I would keep it. How about you? Maybe you would say no. If I found $1 million, I would give it to the police. If I found $1 million, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it to the police. Would not. Notice the negative. We will use it after the modal verb, which is would. So wouldn't. The contractions of would is just take the apostrophe then D. We will just use the D, just like the not. The apostrophe D, and we use it with all subjects. So you can say I would, you would, he would, she would, and we, they would. Instead of saying would, I'd, they'd, shorter. Just in speaking, you can use it much more. They would be happy if they had time to take a vacation. They'd be happy. So for shorter and quicker speaking, just use they'd, we'd. Okay, let's try to do these. Here we're having someone is imagining and an imaginary situation. If I have the money, I buy my dream car. He doesn't have the money and he can't buy his dream car. So he would say, if I had the money, I would buy my dream car. He is imagining that he had the money, then as a result, he would do something else, which is buying a car. I would buy the car. How about if I go to space, I meet extraterrestrials, the ETs. I will say, if I went to space, I would meet the ETs. I believe that I will never go to the moon, and I am imagining in here going to the moon. If I went to the moon, I would. Okay. Let's notice in here, let's go back to the same idea. If I won $1 million, I might travel around the world. Someone would say, if I won $1 million, I might, possibility, maybe, might travel around the world. Or he would say, if I win $1 million, I could buy a fancy car. So instead of would, we can use one time, you can use might and you can use could for the idea of possibility and ability. So in here, if conditioner for imaginary situations, we can use if followed by the past. Whenever you are imagining, just use the past. Followed by whether would plus the verb. Like if I won $1 million, I would be rich. Won, would be. Also, it could be could. You can choose could instead of would, followed by the verb. So I will say, if I won $1 million, I could buy a fancy car. Or we can use might, and this time it would be, if I won $1 million, I might travel around the world. So you're having three options for the if in an imaginary situation. You can choose would, could, or might. These are your three options that you can use in an imaginary situation. And all of them would work as long as your sentence makes sense and meaningful. Conditional sentences with might and could. Might can replace would in conditional sentences to express possibility. You're telling me, maybe I will do this thing. Instead of saying maybe, just use might. If I had extra money, I might take a vacation to Hawaii. However, I might do other things. Might. Also, could can also be used in the if clause, and it means if someone were able to. So the ability, it gives you the sense of ability, the meaning of ability. If I could travel, I would go to Tahiti. Could, because could is the past of can, and could can also be used in the main clause. Would be able to, like if I had more time, I could play another game of tennis. So the idea that we can use the past with if, and the other side, which is the result clause, you're having three options, whether you will use would, could for ability, and possibility, you would use might. Okay, let's go ahead in here. In your books, page 49, here, discuss the following situations. What would you do? We're going to come for each one of these, we will come with three sentences, three result clauses, which are might, could, or would. Let's imagine the situation. You were at the supermarket, then suddenly someone took your shopping cart by mistake. They meant nothing. It was by mistake. They were walking, someone took your shopping cart. What would you do? What might you do? What could you do? Maybe I would just say, sorry, that's my cart. I would say, that's my cart. As easy as that. Or I might take another cart. I might go and get another one. Or we say, I could follow him or her. Someone, so him or her. So these are my possibility. If someone took notice, took the simple past, I would, I might, I could. All of these are possible. And you can come up with any other situation. How about in here? If I were in a hotel and I saw a famous writer at a nearby table, someone, celebrity, someone who's very famous, well known, sitting by your side at the the nearby table, what would you do? For me, I might say, I wouldn't bother the celebrity and ask for autograph. I would never do it. I would not ask him or her for signing for me. I might say hi. I might just say, wave my hand and say hi. Or I could take a photo. I will be able to take a photo. Notice that we have used would, could, and also might. Another situation, imagine that if I lent a friend some money, I gave my friend some money. Lending is the idea that I will give it. It's not a gift. They will bring it back to me. It's my money and I will give it to you. You are borrowing and I am lending, giving. So if I lent a friend some money, let's notice here, imaginary situation, simple past tense. So I will say, I would politely ask for the money back. Would ask for the money back. Excuse me, can you bring my money back? I might send a reminder text. I will remind him or her with a text. Or I could ask him or her giving the money back. I could ask them to bring the money back. So we have used would, might, and could. How about in here? If I lent a friend a dress for a special occasion and the friend returned it with a spot. You gave your friend a dress, however, she returned it with a spot. Let's imagine that it's a t-shirt. You gave your friend a t-shirt and they brought it back with a spot. It's dirty. Maybe a juice or food was spilled on. This is impolite. I would not say anything. I will say nothing. How about other option? I might take it to the dry cleaner. I will say nothing and I will take it to the dry cleaner so they will clean it. Or I could ask about the spot. I could ask my friend why this dress is spotted. What happened to my dress? How about in this one? If I saw someone cheating on a test, what do we mean by the idea of cheating? Copying someone's answers. Two are copying each other's answers. What would you do? Here, I might say, I would warn him or her. I would tell him, never do this, otherwise I will tell someone. Or I might tell the teacher. Maybe I will tell the teacher, or I will just ignore them and I could ignore him or I ignore her. It's not always a good idea to cheat or copy someone else or someone's work. Okay, now let's try to match in here. We're having each side, we're having a main clause, which is the if clause, and the other side is the result clause. You will come a meaningful, two meaningful sentences, you will put them together, then put the if and the might together or if and would together. Let's start with the first one. If I were a very rich person, imagine you were a rich person. You will match it with A, B, C, D, E, or F. I will match it with D. So, if I were a rich person, I wouldn't have to work. Would not have to go to work. How about the following? If I saw someone who was stealing in a store, someone who was shoplifting, taking things, maybe a dress or a t-shirt from the store, what would you do? If I saw someone who was stealing, I can match it with F. I would call the police. So, if I saw someone stealing in a store, I'd call the police. I would do something. The following, number 3, if I had more experience, more life experience or work experience, I will match it. I will apply for the job. Because I don't have enough experience, I can't apply. However, if I had more experience, I would apply for the job. I'd apply for the job. Number 4, if I could say something to the president, I would say in here, I will tell him to cut taxes. I will tell them to cut the taxes. How about number 5? If I had to leave my home, I will stay somewhere else. What would you do? If I had to leave home, I might live with my aunt. I would choose to stay with my aunt. How about the last one, number 6? If I could choose any destination, any place to live or to visit, I would travel to New Zealand. I might go to New Zealand. How about you? Which ones would you choose? And we're having here the F clause and the result clause, and we will use a comma in the middle. Okay. Now in your books, page 108, exercise C, complete the story with the correct form of the verb. So in here, we will use the correct form of the verb. One time you can use simple past if it is the F clause, or you had the option whether to use would, could, or might. Let's start with here. Number 1. If John not be so lazy, the F clause, simple past, were not. And notice here that we haven't used was. I have used were. What do you think? Why? In imaginary situations and in the second conditional, we usually only use were because we are imagining things, not real. If they were, if I were, if you were, if he were. So it's always were. Never use, and if it is the be, never use was. You can use was if you are speaking. If John were not so lazy, he possibility, be a better friend. He would probably be a better friend. More specifically, let me be specific and tell you a story. If his friends ask him to help them, asked him to help them with something, maybe he not answer with an excuse. He would not answer with an excuse. So always he's doing this. I imagine that he would never do that. The following, John has a truck. So I sometimes ask him to help me move big things to my apartment. But he never does. His favorite excuse, if I not have a test tomorrow, so simple past, I didn't have. So we want to use the simple past, so we will use did. Didn't have a test tomorrow, I definitely help you. Here we will use would help you. I believe him if he not say this while talking on his cell phone the whole time. Notice that we're having a conversion in here. Different, we started with the result clause, not the F clause. So we'll say, I would believe him if he didn't say that while he is busy on his cell phone. So simple past for the F clause, and the other one is always going to be, and we will use would, might, or could. The same page 108, exercise D, complete the conversation, use the conditional sentences with the F clauses. Now we're having two talking to each other. We will complete it with an F conditional. Nawal and Layla. Nawal, will you buy a new cell phone? I don't have the cash right now. She will tell us that if having the money, buying the cell phone. So she will say, if I had the cash right now, I would buy the cell phone. Reality, I don't have cash. If I had, I would buy the cell phone. Kevin and Sean, will Larry apply for the job at the library? Sean would say, no, he won't. He doesn't want a summer job. What would we say? Let's change reality. If Larry wanted a summer job, he doesn't want it. if he wanted a summer job, he would apply for the job at the library. Henry and Roy, will Ahmed and Muhammad go on vacation with us? Then Roy will answer, no, they can't. Ahmed has an English test next Sunday. Let's imagine that he didn't have an English test. So we'll say, if Ahmed didn't have an English test, what might happen? They would go on a vacation with us. Let's continue. Number 4, Jack and Tom. Your shirt is so old. You need to buy a new one. No, I don't. It doesn't have any holes in it. Let's imagine that it had holes. So we will say, if my t-shirt or my shirt has holes in it, I would buy a new one. Fred and Fadil, will you go to the baseball game with us? He would say, no, I don't like baseball, but thanks for asking. Imagine that he liked baseball. I would say, if I liked baseball, I would go to the game with you. However, I don't like it. Notice that the past with the F clause and the would or might or could in the other one. Okay, for your homework, I want you to refer to your books, page 112, page 112, exercise J. You will find an exercise there, imaginary situations, and you will write the F clauses for them. Okay, I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.